This past weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series headed out to the big city of Chicago to race in the sport's first inaugural street race. And let's say for the Xfinity side of things, it could have been better. The racing product, while it was going, was not spectacular, I guess you can say. It is very hard to pass. And rain came with lightning, and it forced them to postpone the second half of the race to Sunday morning. Rain came there, and as soon as they called the drivers to their cars, the rain intensified much more, and they ultimately had to call the race because it was going to interfere with the start of the Cup race, and Cole Custer picked up the win there. And when the Cup race rolls around, we see a slight delay. Cars get on track. They shorten it down to 75 laps. And we've seen a new first-time winner in Shane Van Gisbergen. Trackhouse racing in the 91 car is new to me. I know y'all was kind of surprised with the NBC analysis of how bad they were struggling with this name. It is Gisbergen. He is a Kiwi driver from New Zealand. He won in his first ever NASCAR Cup Series start. And I believe it is safe to say, folks, he's going to get some big offers within the next year and a half, possibly for street races or probably maybe full time, because we're seeing more and more tracks added onto the schedule that happens to be road courses. And if you got a good road course driver, you got so many chances a year to win a race. And if you win a race, you're in the playoffs. And if you're in the playoffs, you can win the championship. So I believe he's going to be a hot name to keep an eye on. Not next year, because he said he's going to do one more year in New Zealand, but after that, it's all fair game, and he's going to look at his options. But in no set of Chicago, because I will talk about that in tomorrow's video, which is going to be a very controversial one, so stay tuned for that. But today, I am here to give y'all my full-on predictions for the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series Quaker State 400 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is going to be a night race, and I'm telling you folks, there are going to be a lot of things that take place here, a lot of big wrecks, a lot of controversy, so stay tuned for that. And I'm also doing a Pick 5 contest as always, so get your picks down below to be entered, and on to the intro we go.
I'm Chase Briscoe, driver number 14 Ford Mustang for Stewart Haas Racing, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Yes. You are reading that right. I believe the driver of the number 62 Chevrolet for Beard Motorsports is going to go to victory lane this Sunday night at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Quaker State 400, and that driver is Austin Hill. Austin Hill is a hot name in the Xfinity Series right now. He kicked off the year with a win in Daytona, Vegas, Atlanta, and did really well since then, and he's high up in the points. And I believe he is starting to get closer to knocking on the door for a Cup ride. And I believe with him going to a track like the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which he's been very good at in the past, has numerous wins here, I believe he's going to be a force to reckon with. But originally, at the beginning of the year, they were not supposed to run the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Instead, they were supposed to race the Chicago street race. And that ultimately fell through. But I believe it's probably going to work out better for both parties because, for one, Austin Hill's not a good road course racer, but he is a good racer at the Atlanta Motor Speedway and a plate racer. And that 62 car is not going to win on any track besides a plate race. So I believe it has worked out for both sides. So Austin Hill, I believe this weekend he's going to pack his bags in his home in Charlotte, North Carolina, I assume. And he's going to go to the airport. He's going to put his bag on the plane. He's also going to bring him a big-ass broom because I believe he's not going to only win the Cup race, but he's also going to win the Xfinity race. And he's going to sweep the weekend in total. Second place, it's going to be the 31 car of Justin Haley. Justin Haley came home in second place in the Chicago street race. No one saw that coming. Justin Haley is not known to be a good road course racer, but he did have a good outing in Chicago, so good for him. But though he's in a must-win situation if he's wanting to make the playoffs this year. And Atlanta is a plate track, and Haley is very good at these plate tracks, so you can never count him out. And plus, you got to remember, folks, he is racing for his future in the sport of NASCAR. He's on his final year with college racing, and if things don't go well, he can ultimately find himself in 2024 without a good Cup ride. So he's racing for his future right now, so expect him to go try hard mode, if you will. Third place is going to be the 14 car of Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, these last couple of weeks has been intensified with pressure because first off at Charlotte, not a good run. Johnny Klossmeyer gets suspended. And they had that big time penalty, and he has Mike Bucket Ravage on top of the pit box for Sonoma or Gateway in Sonoma, and they bring in Richard Boswell. It's going to take some time to get going with them two because they were partnered up with Xfinity, and Cup and Xfinity cars are two totally different things. And I believe Atlanta is going to be the place where they turn the page and get some momentum building. I don't think they're going to win Atlanta, but they're going to have some type of momentum for the end of July. You got New Hampshire, you got Pocono, I believe, and you got Richmond at the end of the month. And if Briscoe can have some momentum for them tracks, I think he's going to be in a good position because he has to win a race, but he needs momentum, and so does Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole. Fourth place, though, is going to be Corey LaJoie. And if you're looking at a long shot here, besides Austin Hill, I think Corey LaJoie is your go-to man because he should have won this race last summer, but he didn't. But Chase Elliott had other plans and was very competitive in the spring. So Corey LaJoie, keep your eyes on him, if you will, because he is going to be up there. He has to win to make the playoffs. And if he wins this year, I bet you he's going to be in contention for a top ride next year in the Cup Series. Stewart-Haas Racing 10 car. But fifth place, though, is going to be the 17 car of Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher, I'm telling you, folks, has turned the page in his career in the 2023 season. Building up to 2022, his career was not going that well in the Cup Series besides that one win in Pocono back in 2016 because of fog. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But it got the promotion to Roush Fenway. Things went slowly there until Brad Keselowski came into the picture. He won the Bristol night race in 2023 rolls around. He's competitive week in and week out. He's going to be a force to reckon with this weekend. And my dark horse here this Sunday night at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I like both front row motorsports cars, but in particular, I like Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland has no fear when it comes to plate racing. Neither does Michael McDowell. So I think Gilliland is going to be someone to keep an eye on. Heck, for the heck of this video, we're doing two of them, Michael McDowell also. I'm just torn on picking one of them. I believe they're going to have some good team strategy. They're going to be working together. Because remember, folks, the Atlanta Motor Speedway is much different compared to your typical racetrack or your typical super speedway track because the pit road entrance is pretty much in turn 3. You're about half a mile out. So you're losing 2 laps guaranteed from pitting. So we're going to see a lot of interesting strategy being played here this weekend at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So please stay tuned this week for the videos. On Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about the Chicago Street Race Nightmare, the logistical nightmare, if you will. Wednesday, I'm going to talk about some F1. We're going to talk about some NFL. And then this upcoming weekend, we're going to have a silly season thing on Saturday. We're going to have a vlog from the Atlanta Motor Speedway race weekend, which I will be attending. So stay tuned to my Twitter, WBlackwell72, for giveaways because they will be up there. But a big weekend for this channel, so I like for y'all to tag along here. And so everybody, though, have a great and phenomenal day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.